This is Team Left Jab Uncensored. Anything goes. No limits and no rules. Political correctness is not welcome here. Powered by the Team Left Jab United Radio Network. Counterculture and in your face. LeftJabAllNightBoxing.com.
Hey, how you doing, Tony?
Well, better than ever. I'm back hearing from you.
It's good to hear your voice again, Tony. It's been a little while. Always a pleasure having you on. Absolutely want to thank you for coming on. Yeah, we got to figure out how to do this, when you're in Japan. I just don't know how to do it, like where I could record it. You know what I mean? Because like last time we were going to do it every month, and then I just couldn't figure it out. So I had to really wait till you came back. I don't know if it's international or not, to be honest with you. I got to look into that.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. I've kept in touch with so many people over the years through it. And, to not only Skype, like even that messenger thing, available via Facebook, that we communicate, we messenger on.
Yeah, but it's just a matter of recording it, though. It's not even. Of course, we can make the phone call, but it's a matter of recording it so we can put it out. That's what I'm saying. So I got to figure that part out. We'll figure it out, though. So how you doing, Tony?
Yeah. Better than ever. Like I said, hearing from you, it's just a whole lot to get off my chest and a whole lot of stuff I went through. I got up to like 2 days. I recorded just almost like 2 hours of me just rambling about all the stuff in Japan, all the independence and everything that I was doing at the time. And I just rambled for like an hour and 45 minutes just to get it all out of me. So that's about how much I missed you. how much I missed not being on.
I appreciate it. Well, like I said, we'll figure that out, though. And, as far as how long are you going to be here in the United States, what is it going to be, about like 6 months or so, or a little shorter?
It's 2.5 months. And
okay. I thought you said 6 months when I saw you post that. I must have been
no,
thinking of something else.
No, it's 2.5 months. And what happens here is that for these 2.5 months, I've accepted like 3 bookings here stateside. But it's also a chance for me to get out and put out like new keychains, stickers, T-shirts, like stuff like that. Stuff that would be like difficult to do in Japan. Yeah. But it's also stuff that I've been like aching to do, that I've been wanting to do for the longest time, and just really haven't gotten around to it. It's just always something like keeping me from going out in Japan and getting done like the things that I have to get done.
Right.
It almost always feels that way. But this is a time like me to come back stateside. I have to like get my taxes and that kind of thing. And,
right.
Then I'm into like long-term financial planning and all that good stuff. So,
yeah. Now, as far as the merchandise goes, you're talking about like the T-shirts and the keychains and something. Are you talking about like protees.com or whatever that is that I see all the wrestlers have, or just you making them and then selling them on your own?
Yeah, exactly. I do it and sell it on my own. And because the Japanese, like through the WWS, Mr. Pogo's old place, they're coming up. They've pushed back they pushed back their 20-year reunion to pretty much coincide with, or their 20-year anniversary show to coincide with like Onita and the big like May 5 like FMW date. So they came to me and they said, choose somebody from America. And I was like, this is going to be great, because now I get to literally pick and choose anybody I want to come with me for 2 weeks. And it'll be revealed at Match 3 months. I already told myself that's what I'll talk about. So much that I've been quiet about.
Right. So you're going to reveal that down the line. That's going to be interesting to see who you pick.
Yeah, and no clues, no anything. It's just, I don't know, like I had a billion people go through my head. And the first thing they told me on the first night in, things kind of got changed. Now I have to fly with them to Fukuoka. And first night in, literally, they're wrestling Onita. So
nice. That's awesome. So looking,
and then
before
the whole thing,
about...
the whole.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to point out real quick. The whole thing ends with the
yeah.
big WWS. With the 20-year anniversary of Pogo's invention, World Wing Spirit WWS.
Nice. That's awesome. So before we look at anything that you have coming up, how was your time in Japan? You weren't just in Japan, though, right? Well, I saw you were in Kenya, too.
Yeah. And what happened was, and this is going to sound funny, but it's one of those things I had to eat as it being like a failure, something I tried and just didn't. When Magic Box Pro started working with WWS, and Magic Box is the place I put on my Facebook that has serious financing. I mean, they leveled the land out in Saitama, and they built from the ground up like 3 giant buildings, one of them like, houses, the dojos for boys and girls, like apartments. It's got a head office. It even has a cafe on site. And then the ring itself, which fits about 600 people, 800 people, the venue. And they have Taka Michinoku, Tajiri are 2 of the big names helping like train all their students. And then they also have like a state-of-the-art facility gym that's inside there too. So I told them, and they coincide with WWS, and they're working on my business visa, get my work visa changed from a business visa. And I told them I'm going to Kenya, and, see this girlfriend of mine at the time at first, but light bulb went off in their head, and they figured they could launch like a subsidiary like Japanese owned, but like in Kenya, and have like locals kind of build it up. And once I got to Kenya, those 6 weeks I learned fast that it's just the wrong culture, the wrong environment. I got as far as dealing with the government and speaking with them about bringing it in. And they want them there, and they're willing to pay airfare, and they're willing to pay, like, put them up in expensive hotels and resorts and stuff, but they don't want to pay them any money. So it got to be in like a complete standstill. And I made sure it was okay with the boys, because I was, contacting each of the Japanese guys, and I go, look, that's the deal. They'll pretty much let us do it for merchandise sales only. Like, we're goodwill ambassadors. Each one of the boys were like, not for nothing, Tony, but I got a regular job here. Or there's guys, some of my coworkers between both of them that just make a living professional wrestling. So you're looking at guys that are making, just freelancing alone, $3,000-$4,000 a week in their own native country. They're not going to want to leave and
right.
Take the risk of going. Yeah, I know it's long-winded and all, but I just had to get detailing.
Well, I mean, is there like an interest in wrestling in Kenya?
I thought initially there would be, but I found out sooner or later that if it's not WWE brand name, they're just not willing to accept anything less, because WWE airs there, and some of the network stuff airs on there. Like,
that's all they know, right?
Channels.
That's probably all they know.
Yeah, and that's all they want to know. They don't want to know about locals, and they see money in you yourself individually, because they're like, oh, this guy must be rich. He came over here with the Japanese people. Eventually just got to being like, but there's I don't feel the initial interest in any of these people. Right. So what would be the point, to go over there? These would all be my friends and coworkers, that would go over there for nothing, just for the experience of saying I went to Kenya and wrestled. Like,
Right. No, well, that's actually a smart move on your part to realize that before you dumped a lot of money into it, or not even that, just bringing a lot of people over there and then inconveniencing everybody for something that really there was no interest in.
And with the funding from Magic Box Pro, I go, that's just shoveling away money. You're already paying to fly me to Kenya, because you found a way to make it business related. And 6 weeks is a long time, man. And I had a blast in the clubs and bars, and
I saw the pictures of you. It looked like you having fun there, though.
I mean, it's a lot of fun. I scuba diving, I sailed a boat, the beach and the pool every single day. I'm overeating garbage food and way off of. I don't know if you got to see, like, this past time in Japan, I did a lot of just at first it was just to keep me in shape, like the shoot fighting stuff. But going to Hamaguchi's gym every day, it's like, you fall in line with the amateurs and you start learning with them, and it's fun, and you keep in shape, and you know what I mean? That all coincided with Tababa and the 3 different indies that he's associated with. So he and I went to all 3 of those indies and did like a best of 3. and it's just so cool. Like the amateur, like grappling, like experience, complete with the striking. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Now, in Kenya, there are areas that are dangerous over there, though, right? Maybe it wasn't really close to anywhere where you were, or am I wrong on that?
Almost everywhere you go over there is pretty much dangerous. I mean, if you don't guard your grill and knuckle up and, you know, get in people's faces about, yo, man, you're not going to jerk me around here, you know, like.
Okay, yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I remember always hearing about that, yeah. Even the
17
nightclubs
years
and
of me
stuff, or
residing
just like in the streets?
Yeah, like 17 years of me residing in Memphis, Tennessee. It's a lot like hustle and flow. You know, you fall into this and you have no idea what you're getting into. But, you know, eventually, you know, you live in a dump that's right next to the airport. And, you know, there's all kinds of robberies going on and stuff. And eventually, you know, you smarten up. But, yeah, it's like, and then if Mombasa wasn't bad enough, they're like, well, Nairobi is like even crazier than this. Wow. And I'm like, dude, there's hookers in this nightclub. This is like a nightclub I'm going into.
Right.
So
I gotta say, I did see I was laughing because I saw the pictures of you taking of this old guy that kept staring at you with his hooker girl, I guess, that he had. I was laughing at that. Why was he staring at you? I guess you don't know, right? That's why you were taking the pictures. He was annoying you.
Yeah, and he's like tapping on his table. He's drinking like Pellegrino water in the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy just kept looking and gawking at me. I guess it was because of the chick that I was like. But I was with my girlfriend at the time and one of her friends, and you know, like her and her friend were like, you know, interacting, you know, frisky with each other or whatever. And then this idiot, like, he wouldn't stop like gawking, like he was like looking, like staring a hole through me. So I, you know, fine art of me, I figure, let's go with it. So I start like taking the selfie pictures. Then I start flagrantly getting him in the pictures, and the guy's covering up his face.
Oh, I saw
the
that. Yeah,
like,
the girl too was covering up her face too. I saw.
Oh,
they were panicking. I think they thought they were in trouble or something.
Here it gets even better. So then, like maybe an hour after that, and he's like looking over there, and he's like pointing security at me and everything. Two more girls come to join him. One of the two girls that join him. This is this is Team Left Jab Uncensored, right?
Oh yeah, you could curse, do whatever.
Oh, all right. Well, here's what happened. The one girl parts herself like the Red Sea and just starts playing with herself in the middle of the damn call, like while she's sitting at the table, but her seat is scooted back and she's full spread eagle. And like it was so weird because the whole place like started laughing at her. Like,
why did she do that though? Was she just drunk or something, or was she just trying like act up?
And you could see her, like that table. They were ordering the most expensive stuff on this old man's bill. Like Kenya was surrounded by so many old white people that you could tell it was like this old white dude's fetish. Like, yeah, I like to split the charcoal. You know, it's like a secret that he had to get out of his system before the end of his life.
Right.
So they go to Kenya, and like as old as they are, they're like having unprotected sex with hookers, and it's just crazy. It's like off the charts, like insanity. Like,
now, a horrible question, and I know I don't think you're going to be able to answer it, obviously, but I mean, I guess you could. Now, are these underage girls that you hear about that like overseas? These guys, these rich guys, go over to these other countries, and they they get these kids and stuff. Were they of age at least? You think, or you're not sure?
One thing I'm sure of, they were of age, because like the way that they have security outside the club.
Okay.
And it's so weird because I've never seen no armed security like that. Just he's holding an AKA 47 when you roll up to any ATM, and the dude's just sitting there with the gun on his lap. Like, I got a bunch of those pictures where I'm just like, guy's sitting there with an AK-47 sitting on his lap, and like here I am, I'm like, I guess I can withdraw whatever money I want, because who the hell's going to follow me around with this itchy trigger finger guy over here,
Right.
And so, I mean, you pull into like a lot, like a mini mall. I pulled into this mini mall, and they look through your car. I don't know what the hell they're looking for, but and like the Japanese, like the expense account of theirs or not, I was still looking to save it back because I'm like, no, I'm not gonna like bother. But what happened is, I went from gym to gym and just tried to get a feeling out. I saw the big venues. I stopped at them. I told the people in charge, and gosh, you've never seen like it's just poverty. It's mile after mile of like real poverty, and you see they have no entertainment dollar because for them only the rich and elite go out to clubs. Everyday people, like if you can afford to go to a club, oh my God, this guy must be dull, must be really dull. But you see like so much of that, like I even have the picture of the airport in Kenya. It's like that's it. Like all your partying and it, I mean, holy Moses. I've been to LaGuardia, I've been to O'Hare. You know what I mean? Newark International is a zoo.
Right. And
so rolling into like Kenya, Mombasa International, you're like, that's international. What?
And where else did you go? Were you in Turkey too? I thought I remember seeing something about Turkey.
Yeah, the layover in Turkey. There? Yeah, the layover in Turkey.
Layover.
And
right.
One of the greatest parts of that was Onita's like, he's like, I wrestled in Kenya. You remember they were like, when FMW first started out, they did the whole Goodwill thing where they wrestled in like these crude, they weren't even like rings. They would just put like a stake in the ground, trying to build a makeshift ring. But it was a way for FMW to get in those pictures and be like, see, look at that. We went to Kenya, like.
Right.
That's when the promotion first started out. So, he knows people from all over the world. So then I got like a few hours layover, and some of the Turkish people they knew were like taking me out. One of when I owned my own, back when I owned my own Domino's, the one driver I had was a Turkish dude, and I kept in touch with him all these years on Facebook. He was trying to get me like hooked up with his friends, but I'm like, I have a few hours layover, man. I'm not looking to get into anything stupid, like.
Right.
I gotta keep out of trouble here.
I'm looking at like the pictures on your Facebook, and I'm back to the earlier part of the year and when you were in Japan and everything like that. So you've been all over the place the first couple of months of this year, which you usually always are traveling. When you leave the United States, but you've been in a few countries. Very interesting. It looks like you did a lot of wrestling in Japan as well, which you always do.
Yeah, always. I explained on the thing where basically I just talked to myself for like an hour and 45 minutes. Hooking up this time at Basement Monster is great because Mako runs in there, Bushido runs in there, all these different independents. Production D runs in there. All these different 18 pro wrestling sometimes runs in there, and they do like tapings and stuff like that too. So you could wrestle 4 or 5 times in the same venue on a given Saturday. It's just, they have the Velcro where they tear the Velcro off and then someone puts the Velcro back on as their banner.
Right.
The cooperation's like incredible because that would never happen stateside. Not that many different companies.
Right. The were you in England as well or no? Why do I see England here?
No. No. I have a few buddies of mine that are over.
Yeah,
actually, I was talking with a friend of mine in the UK, and he was like,
that's what it was. Okay. I see it now.
Like,
okay.
If you could come over here, I'll put him on the spot. Adam Fellows. I mean, that guy's he was one of Pogo's biggest supporters. And I've told the story of how we met. It was just me emailing him back going, hey, man, your shirt's like going out today. And just us just kicking it off. And, 5 years later, 6 years later, we're still friends.
Right. Awesome. So what did we miss as far as your time overseas since you left the United States before you came back? Anything, or did we pretty much cover it all?
Pretty much got through it. We breezed over it. The stuff with WWS, that's always near and dear to my heart. Wrestling Onita again, this time at the Hosaka benefit. There's like pictures all over my Instagram of me and Onita locking horns and beating away on each other again. And then I caught the aftermath on Facebook and the all the pictures with he and I together. And pictures that other random people had taken. Some of them put together the pieces and they go, "That's Tony Myers under that mask." Other ones, they don't want it revealed to them. It's the coolest thing ever. There was also, there's just so much I could breeze over. A whole bunch, hentai pro wrestling, which is just
right.
off the charts crazy. Underage girls doing shots, guys sleeping with girls during the show inside the ring, and them just. I have the one of Fruit Onita, which loosely translates to Fat Onita. The guy that does a spoof on Onita's gimmick, and the guy naked inside the ring. I mean, every junk hanging out and everything. And he's cutting the Onita promo. And the point of that match there was whoever stripped the other one, the person had to be nude when you pinned him for a 3 count.
Oh, all right.
Dudes, and you're like, what? And you look over there, there's transvestites all over the place.
Oh, man.
Hentai Pro is owned by...
Huh?
Yeah, it's Juichi Hanawa owns the place.
Wow.
He broke his shoulder wrestling to Baba. So then, guys started doing benefits for him, like selling his T-shirts and doing shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Hosaka aid was really, really just, it was all his friends,
Yeah.
That's how Tanaka booked it. And Tanaka was like, he said, Onita wants to see him. And I already knew what that meant. I was like, that means I'm just being added to this main event. And I was so been winded from an 8-man earlier in the night. And I was just sweating. And I'm like, here we go again. But they made it clear to everybody, every single person that did Hideki Hosaka's benefit show, every single one of those guys, no pay.
Right.
They did it strictly so that his wife would get the money.
Right.
And they had some of the biggest names in Japanese independent wrestling there, so it's like, God, what do you see when a guy like Masato Tanaka, who's got a lot of better things to do, Hashimoto, Hasagawa, who run 18. These guys have millions of other indies, but we all took that night, and something very near and dear to my heart,
Yeah.
Guys, my buddy is battling stage 4 cancer.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, so it sounds like you had a lot of interesting, times over there. Now that you're back in the United States, you mentioned that. Well, actually, before we get to the shows, just to finish off with the gear and everything like that. So I saw you have a couple of T-shirt designs that you're looking to make. You made them already, or you were just getting concept ideas?
I was getting concept ideas, but then I went ahead with one, which got so much great feedback that I couldn't resist. So I changed up the font, and I'm thinking I should have put where it plugs to Twitter.
Yeah.
Maybe should have put that in the bottom right. But they should be literally coming to my house any day now. And I try to tell people all the time, I'm not taking anybody's money up front. We wait until the T-shirts arrive and everything's good, and then we proceed. So it's like,
right.
$20, that covers shipping and handling. Yeah, whoever wants one gets one.
Right.
Or
You
a
also
whole
doing
bunch.
keychains too, right?
Yeah, I got to see the lady tomorrow morning about keychains and stickers. They have keychains and stickers now. It's like a cartoon version. That I put up on Instagram, and you could use that QT scan to and then another major wrestling store, which is all the way in the outskirts of the Gunma Prefecture, and it's like Yamagata and towns like that house WWS wrestling. Now they're doing more house shows randomly out in the middle of nowhere, seemingly, but they also have that store that's right there, and they sell those keychains, they sell those stickers. I got a bunch of them, but it's not enough to sell to people.
Right.
But they're kind enough to give you a cut, so you can't complain. But I'm like, I would like to have that myself. I could do a different thing with that. It doesn't have to be the cartoon. The Japanese obsess about cute things.
Yeah. Right. All right, so you got some gear, coming, and I'm sure you're going to add more to it, as time goes on, right?
Yeah, and new shirt coming in because that last one is legit and it is so at it. We were just goofing around, me and Masaru Tao, the guy that holds the lineal belt that the Sheik held that U.S. heavyweight title, and it was like we were just kind of like goofing around, going through some stuff we wanted to do, and he did hardly nothing, and the whole back, like the back part, from like the sleeve on the shoulder, just just tore without no effort. So I'm like,
yeah.
I got to get a new shirt. So I'm working on a design for that. It's got to be all rustic looking and everything.
Right. All right, cool. Now, as far as the shows that you have coming up, you said 3. I know of one of them, March 21st. Smells Like a Freak Show in Pennsylvania. I saw. What's the details on that and the other 2 shows?
All right, that is Newmanstown, Pennsylvania. So it's like 2.5 hours from my house. It's on out there. Hammer, who everybody knows Twisted Tate from like the Pennsylvania area. They ran ACW that was out of Denver, and it coincided back in the day with the WPW promotion that was owned. That I did like a lot of everything from announcing to refereeing for, because at the time I had a wife that was in the wrestling business, and I didn't want to be that guy who already had a spot and then wrestle on top of it with her booking. So I was smart enough to stay away from that. But yeah, that's out there. That Smells Like a Freak Show. That's on the 21st of this month. So, and like I said, if someone's on the way, I'm more than willing to pick them up because I'm riding solo. I'm
right.
by myself with my thoughts, and I'll probably call a bunch of the other wrestlers, just to keep me company while I'm on the road.
Right. And what are the other 2 shows? Do you have the details on them yet or not yet?
Matt Tremont's H2O Wrestling. I don't believe Matt's going to be there on the 4th, but that's when I let it all out. Say who I'm coming. Tell the guy that's coming with me to Japan this time. It's kind of random and out of nowhere, but that's the big reveal there.
Okay.
H2O
that's April 4th?
Yeah, April the 4th.
April 4th? Okay.
Yep. And like I said, H2O has always been a home for me. It's always been a place that I can always go to. And, they're mainstream. Everybody knows who they are. Everyone knows who Matt is. And, the guy's a good guy, man.
He is.
One of the true good guys in wrestling. If you hear people ever say anything bad about him, they're the ones with the problem, not him. Right. It's like impossible not to get along with him.
Yeah, he's one of the nicest guys in wrestling for sure.
Easily. The other one is on the 11th is going to be up in Massachusetts. I'll get you the actual name of the town. It's kind of random. It's I'm going to be wrestling, of all people, Anthony Green, who especially the New Age fans know exactly who he is, and I'm like kicking myself, going, man, I'm going to have to get into some shape for that because he's one of those guys, man, that could go. So I have no reason to hold back or anything like that. It's at the YMCA up in Massachusetts, and coolest thing about this one, I broke into the same school that Little Guido, Nunzio, WWE, ECW. Yeah, and I get to ride with my buddy all the way up there. It'll be a lot of fun.
Nice.
I mean, you talk about two guys that look two different directions.
And I'm sure you're going to add more dates to the 2.5 months that you hear as time goes on, I'm sure, too, right?
May the 14th is my final day, regular job, and that's when I take the plunge and right back in Japan, right back to starting. So,
I would love to see you wrestle. I'm sorry, I was just going to say, I would love to see you wrestle in GCW. You've never wrestled there yet, right?
No, you know what I feel? I feel like a pulling timer. Because whenever I go down there to H2O, I'm such a high when I'm
Hold on, Tony. You sound like you're really far away. I can't really hear you.
Oh, I don't know where that came from.
Are you on
I
speaker?
just feel that I didn't put you on speaker, man. That's kind of weird.
Huh?
I just feel when I go down to H2O, 3 months, I get on such a high that, oh, dude,
Hold on, Tony. Let me call you back because I can't hear you at all now. Okay?
okay. All right.
Okay. Let me call you back. Hold on.
Okay, you there?
Okay, now I can hear you. Yeah, you sounded like you were like 3 rooms away. I barely heard you.
That is so weird. I barely moved. It's me and my cousin looking after my parents' house while they're in Florida for the
okay. You were talking about H2O. All I heard was you saying you barely, and then you just faded out. Like
what happens
GCW,
is,
H2O I was asking about.
Yeah. What happens is whenever I do H2O, a bunch of those guys do GCW, and I just kind of feel like a pull. You know what I mean? Like, I'll get through with H2O, and I'll be like, I should do it again next weekend. Maybe I should call DJ, CZW, or, you know, and then I start feeling some of the GCW guys like, hey, man, you got to come. You know, this is like this is what's up. This is the hot promotion.
Right.
And I just start feeling that pull. You know what I mean? Like, to where I won't have a normal life, and I'll just be out there like every weekend, you know, burning myself to the ground. Like, this is my time to kind of sort of recoup. Like, for some odd reason, the last time I was in Japan, like at one point, I blew my hip out, and that was with a Pure J, you know, the women's promotion. The one day, like, me and a bunch of the 18 Pro Wrestler guys just kind of goofing off, and you know, we were doing it to break a sweat and everything, but you know, I was trying to nail the twisting corkscrew moonsault.
Right.
And that's like from the second rope. And I kind of cowered it out like halfway in the middle of it.
Yeah.
When I landed, it didn't feel like that bad or nothing, but it's like the next day, just to go to the bathroom, I had to like pick up my leg and just so I could pivot. Like my hip was completely.
You hurt it bad then.
Yeah. So I was like, you know, and then several other chinks started showing up in my armor. Like I had to go to the hospital at one point, hairline fracture in my wrist. So I was like using a whole roll of tape, almost like a cast every single night to wrestle. Right. So I was just like, all right, I get through this time in Japan. Like, I can do a couple shots in America, keep me in shape, but there's no way I could like burn the candle at both ends and just floor it at this point. Like, you know, I turned 46 when I was over in Japan, so.
Right, yeah.
And I know me, I know my personality, I know myself well enough to know I wouldn't know when to say when. Like, I would just go all out and just, you know what I mean? I got a call from this IWA Deep South guy, and, you know, I was like, no, because that's another one of those places, too, that I would just floor it with no real, what's the right word I'm looking for? Really with no
limit.
Caution to my, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, my own well-being.
Yeah.
It's the way that I am, you know, like.
Right. No, it's true. I mean,
so,
you're here, you know, you're here for a little bit of rest as well. You're not here just to wrestle a full schedule in the United States, because you go back to Japan, that's when you really do the full schedule. So you got to heal up here and rest up here a little as well. So you got to pick your spot.
Otherwise, yeah, because Japan is it's all out. It doesn't matter. Nothing really matters as far as like, you know, oh, I'm injured. You see guys taping up their ankles and everything else over there. So it's just like I can't. I'm not allowed any excuses here. I'm over here on someone else's dime. I'm over here making, you know, the bulk of the money that I saved. So it's like, you know, I can't show up here just, you know, half-ass. You know, it's nothing else really. There's nothing else out there that motivates me to, you know, drive myself and go as far and hard as I go. You know, like stupid stuff. 45-minute battle royals. like over in Japan. Like, you know, that's just the boys having a good old time. That's just the boys, you know. Hey, we came out here to the United States and let's wrestle. It's one of those deals. It's, you know, I just feel coming back stateside, man, and eventually, otherwise, you just, you know, I mean, I'm asking for trouble.
Yeah.
I already know. Especially like body-wise, I know that I'm asking for a lot of trouble. Oh, there was also a potential fourth one, too. You know, Len Sinclair, Lenny Olson, guy that's Dr. Luther, that got signed with AEW and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's he and I and Ron Von Hess, the guy that toured with me over Japan, and the guy that he had with him, Squash. It's a cage match, so they're trying to like find the right date and everything for that. So that's easily another one they want to pull off. So
right.
You know, do that, date permitting, and everything else before I go back. Like, he runs so often out in that area that the one time, right as I was leaving for Japan, he was like, "We got to get you here." Next thing I know, they're flying me over to Bremerton, Washington, and Portland, Oregon.
Right.
So I had to like pull those off before going to Japan. So every day I'm like running up and up and down the roads and the hills and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, it could snowball. You know, if you start saying yes to everybody, before you know it, you're working almost every day, and then there goes the rest and everything. So now, is there anybody, you know, especially when you go for long periods of time to Japan and everything, you come back, I'm sure you see some new faces in the H2O and CZW, GCW, just the Northeast. I'm really talking about. Is there anybody that you really would like to wrestle eventually? I'm not saying this time around, but anybody new maybe that's caught your eye that you like, you know, you might want to get in there with?
Too many of those guys, I go, geez, it's like a lot of fun. Even on like the thing coming up with T, like I saw like G Raver on the poster too, and I was like, huh.
He's awesome.
G Raver. I was like, G Raver, huh? Like I crossed paths with him 10 million times at H2O. But while I was there, it didn't dawn on me like G Raver.
Right.
You know, I see guys like Lucky 13, Devin Moore, all those guys like at Tremont's. God, like any of them you could say. Aiden Blackheart, you know. I mean, I'm fascinated by some of these people. You know, I remember
like Brandon Kirk or somebody like that. A newer guy that's been around a couple of years but hasn't been around forever.
Yeah, or even like Matt Tremont himself. I'm like, I never got that. You know, like there was so much like talk or hype going around about it when it happened. I wrestled like Low Life Louie, and then Schlack came out with a chain, like swinging a chain.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything outside of a gun, what's going to make me back down with a chainsaw? And there was like a bunch of people that. Yeah, there was a bunch of people that tagged me in it. They're like, I guess they did something called LA Confidential. They're like, Schlack and FMW Leather. They're like, this just needs to happen. And there was a lot of talk about it, but it was never pulled off.
Never happened, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it never got to happen. But
so many matchups that you could do. It's just a matter of time, though. You know, you can't say yes to all of them, I guess.
Yeah, and like with me, like I said, it really does feel like burning the candle at both ends. And then it's like, well, what's going to be left of me when I go back overseas, you know? And
right.
Like the whole,
you
like
have
the
to
whole
pick
boxing.
Your spots,
Yeah, like the whole boxing thing. Like, you know, you get toughened up by getting, you know, a bunch of shots on you. But then again, like, then it comes to the point where it's like starting to wear and tear on the body, you know?
Get in there for the real fight, and you're not that effective because you're worn down.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, it gets to be one of those things, and you're like, let me count my blessings where they are, and not where I should take them to places where they shouldn't be, because I could see myself as one of those guys that breaks his neck doing something stupid, and everyone just like scoffing and being like, he did that in front of 120 people at some place, you know, stateside, in front of really no reason. Like, you know, it's not only the injury thing, but having all that egg on your face, like, yeah, what the hell was I doing? Like, what did I do that for? What did that prove? that prove anything
Yeah.
to me? It's like,
Well, especially you know, you've wrestled so many years, and you've knock on wood that it continues. You've stayed healthy to that point, meaning that you haven't had a serious injury. So the last thing you want to do is get one now. You know, like you said, you're 46 years old. You know, you want to stay healthy at this point.
the thing is, like anybody else, you don't know when to say. You know, you don't know when to get off. You don't know when to quit. You don't. You know what I mean? You don't.
Yeah.
You want to give everything to everybody that's ever bought one of your shirts, but in another sense, you're like, is there really a point in me diving off the top of this shed right here to do something really stupid and risk that kind of? You know, the Japanese too. They're like, you know, you don't have to moonsault if you don't want. And I'm like, no, I want to. Like, it's just because of the way I am. At least if I pull back on bookings, or, you know, it'll be special, you know, to get booked in some of the places. At least I can, you know, drain the tank, so to speak, on that given day. And, you know, it goes against all the philosophy that all the old timers taught guys like me breaking in. It still does.
Right.
And I'm past the point of trying to get noticed. I'm just trying to keep up. You know, why not?
Right. Well, it comes to the point where you have to listen to your body, and if you're, you know, at an older age and you know, you can't do a certain thing, you have to be smart and maybe just scale it back, right? You can't just do it just because you want to please the fans when you really can't do it as good as you used to, and it becomes dangerous.
Yeah, and I don't want it to get to the point where I look up there one day and I just go, "You look embarrassing trying to pull that off. Do it." Like everybody else's is better. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're doing that just to emulate or say, "Hey, look, young guys, I could do one of those too." It's like, no, you look like an old guy who's trying to do it just to, you know, be cool or hip or with the times. Like when you see like a Virgil do like a Canadian destroyer with somebody who's like one of the guys that the internet goes crazy for. It's like, it's just that old guy just doing it just to kind of like, you know, hey.
Yeah.
Or the young guy advising him to do it, you know, like, hey, look what I dragged out of this old timer. Like,
right. Yeah, well, yeah, because that was never in his arsenal until, you know, like this year or whatever, let's say. You know, and the guy's been around since like the early 80s or the mid 80s, so it looks kind of funny, right?
Yeah, and it does. And it just, I remember there was like a whole barrage of these in the late 90s with Stone Cold. It was like, next thing you know, like, just as a joke, like Nikolai Volkov would do something. That there's some guy that he was, you know what I mean, like, or it would be like Lou Albano giving somebody a stunner or something on some indie show out in Jersey, you know,
silly.
just to get that, just to get the cheap pop in, you know, like, hey, look at that, you know, just
it's
that kind of
sad
example.
To a point too. It's sad to a point because you feel like they're above that. You know, these guys are legends, and they don't need to do that. But I guess, you know, that's why they're still out there. You don't know what their money situation is, so, you know, maybe they feel like they have to, you know, do stuff like that just to keep the crowd entertained. You know, maybe that's what their thinking was at that time.
Yeah, I am so far removed from the, you know, I don't keep my finger on the pulse of it, but people tell me all the time about what's going on in like the Jersey indie scene, and I'm like, doesn't look like I missed a whole lot, you know. when you see like the big picture and stuff going on, it's just like, yeah, some things never change, you know. And other things never change, and it's like, God, they need change to at least like try to develop something new to happen. You know, it's like, can't be the same old boring stuff.
Yeah. Is that the sense you get on the whole indie scene, or just like you said, the New Jersey or the Northeast indie scene, that it's kind of flat
Northeast
right now?
is so hard. I think the whole Northeast is so difficult because, God, what haven't they given them? What haven't they done?
Yeah. Right.
I remember like Memphis, you know, like by the time the mid '90s came, then inevitably the place went under. It was like, what else could these people possibly do to draw money? Jerry Jarrett, he tried everything under the sun. It's like, what's left to do? You know, what's left? You know, and then you have to really think outside the box. So then it makes it even that much more difficult. How how are you going to come up with something new?
Right.
There's always that philosophy of, what's old is new again. But how many times can you recycle some stuff in wrestling?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's very hard. I mean, there's only so many. You can't recycle the same thing over and over again. And I think that's some of the I wouldn't say criticism, but I see people commenting like about AEW where, I mean, it's doing well for sure, but I still see some people, and there's always going to be people that complain and they're basically saying, it feels like WCW from back in the day, which I don't really see myself. But, I mean, like I said, how many, there's only so many things you can do.
Yeah, I mean, how much can wrestling really, really change as a whole? I know it's enough to drive, like, old wrestling tradition was crazy with some of the stuff that AEW does, but, it does have a 2020 feel to it. But it still does have, like, an old-time, like, generated heat, like, with the stuff like MJF. I mean, you're not going to find a guy with the ball is rolling so much on that. I mean, and the guy's so young.
Right.
There's guys like that. Like if you're an old-time fan, what do? You're just going to watch the same old stuff over and over and then look at YouTube and stuff from the late 70s and 80s. It's like, how much of that, if you're a diehard fan of The Simpsons, I mean, so then you don't watch any of the new stuff. Because there's some signs of brilliancy, that there's some signs of what they did before. It has to be. What do?
See,
You never give anything new a chance?
Well, that's the thing, and it's the thing that drives everybody crazy about Jim Cornette is like he doesn't accept anything new. He's right on some things, but he's just so negative about everything that it just washes over things when he is right. But he lives so much in the past. I mean, he thinks everybody still thinks about like the Rock and Roll Express and everything like that. I mean, nobody's look, great tag team and everything, legends, but nobody's sitting here in 2020 thinking about 1985 Rock and Roll Express and arm bars and stuff like that for 15 minutes. And he really thinks that that's superior to what goes on now, which is, I mean, he lives in his own little world. Smart guy and everything, but living in the past a little too much.
Oh God, yeah. That is so full at the base. I remember years ago on the old wrestling classics, the website. Lou Dez was one of the very first wrestlers ever to like interact with people on the internet, and it was on like the Prodigy boards before that. But so they come up with the Wrestling Classics website, and I remember it was like some guy from Arkansas. Right? He posted this. He's like, "Oh yeah, we had a Texas death match." You just see this hokey ass guy dressed up like a cowboy, and he's got the leather chaps, and he's going against some other country bumpkin with another guy whose body looks like shit. And this is like the year 2006 when this was like posted. And I'm watching it, and they're just like slugging each other, and one will take a bump on the concrete, and they'll just lay there, and it's so slow. These guys have no real personality. And all the people on the Wrestling Classics website were like, that was a good old school match. I'm like, no, that was boring. And those two guys look like shit. Like, yeah, if you stuck that in the 70s, it might be exciting, but come on, man. Everybody has gone so far. It's like the whole old, like Memphis style, like stand there and hide a chain for 10 minutes or, the first 5 minutes, he pulled my hair, ref. It's like, oh, it's got to get past that.
Yeah, that's like 85 right there with the chain and the hair pulling every 2 minutes to the ref and stuff. That's nuts.
How do you expect anybody to come back and want to watch that again? There's some guy maybe who's 75 years old, like, that's how I used to love my professional wrestling. And it's like, that's one guy. You're not going to grow with him.
Right.
That guy's not going to bring any friends. He's had a whole lifetime, and he's sitting there alone in the crowd. It's like, you got to go for the younger people, the people that are going to grow old with your product. You have to. You cater to them. You have to. Yeah.
And that's,
families are more likely to travel in droves. It's like
it's true. You have to change with the times, even if you don't want to. And have you watched? Now, obviously, I know you're overseas. You're very busy and everything like that. Have you watched much of AEW or even WWE? recently?
You know, I've tried.
Months?
I've tried to go and find, you know, some of the stuff on YouTube. Like, I don't care who hates me for saying it, but I'm like fascinated with Orange Cassidy.
Oh, I love Orange Cassidy. Yeah, he's cool as hell. I like him.
That happened. That had to happen.
Yeah.
So fantastic, man. Man, you talk about the guys like Stone Cold, that everybody wanted that personality. Like, there's so many more people that are Orange Cassidy, and like even like Austin himself and Booker T put the guy over. They're like, that is just so original. Like, that's the wrestler everybody wanted to be like. You know, like do much. You know, that whole like drunk, stoned, lazy, hungover. You know what I mean? Like, it had to be invented.
I think he's just lazy. Like, he doesn't want to put much effort into it. Because I remember I saw like a tag team match, and when the guy tagged him, he was like, "Oh, I really have to get in there." You know, it's so funny. But the guy can wrestle though. That's the whole point of it. And
that's the brilliancy of it when he gets like. Yeah, when he gets like that gust of like wind in him, where he just wants to do something, he starts firing up. It makes it even more hilarious, you know, because you know he has his in him the whole time. And you can see the stuff he pulls off. You know how difficult. I look at him with his hands in his pockets and doing just the forward rolls, and I'm like, nobody knows how difficult that crap is until they have tried to pull it off themselves. Nobody knows how difficult that is.
Yeah, you got to be in some kind of shape for that. I mean, you know, your body twisting that way with your arms straight like that, and somehow he keeps the sunglasses on most of the time. They do fall off once in a while, but yeah, it's crazy, that act.
Well, it's like motocross. When you watch those guys, or even the guys like doing the flips on the ramps and everything, they make that stuff look so easy.
Yeah.
My God. I wouldn't even know how to begin to practice for something like that.
Yeah.
Where would you practice over doing a flip on a motorcycle?
Yeah.
Where are you gonna land?
God knows, right? Like a big desert or something like that with hills. Who knows? I mean, that's crazy.
I would really need to like research that and find out how on this planet somebody can pull that off.
Yeah, there's got to be areas where you can do that though, but who knows where it is?
Yeah. Well, my brother was like, you know, he was an ultimate in 1992, like Winter Olympic Games, right?
Yeah.
So he did all that crazy stuff. They do flips, and or they would call it cat out of a window, where you just flail your arms and legs like crazy, and you go off this humongous ramp. You know, I saw my brother in a couple competitions like that out in Colorado when he went out there. And it's just like, dude, how would you even? My God, do you just barely go off the ramp the first time? Like, how are you preparing to get launched in the air like that? Like,
right.
Yeah.
I could never do that. I'm not good with heights, so that wouldn't work for me. That's for sure.
Yeah. The weird thing is, if it's in the context of professional wrestling, I got no problem with heights.
Yeah.
But in everyday life, I'm walking down someone's stairs. I'm like a precautious little old lady. Yeah. I'm looking for a rail to hold on to.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, no need to twist my ankle here, you know. Like,
oh yeah. All right, Tony. So, as far as AEW, WWE, anything else catches your eye? Obviously, Orange Cassidy has. Anybody else in AEW or WWE, or storylines or anything?
I love the Beyond Wrestling stuff that those guys do. I love the whole evolution of that product. That was like pretty fascinating. But
that's a cool promotion.
Yeah, it is. You know, the boys were the fans that start out, and then, you know, eventually fans were fans. Like, stuff like that to me is like ingenious, just how they're able to come up with, you know, I'm not crazy about Gabe Sapolsky for like personal reasons, but even when Evolve was starting out, I'm like, I might be onto something here. This is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then I remember sitting next to Billy Caputo. Billy Caputo, you know, retired referee, now Stay Athletic Commissioner, was like, it's so stupid. Why would you put a guy that big against a little guy that little?
Right.
You know, and I'm like, yeah, you know, that does make a lot of sense, but this place is working by like the amount of wins that they get and losses, and just, you know, it's at least something new. It's at least something.
Yeah. Well, AEW is doing that, right? They're doing the wins and losses, I know.
Yeah, now they've started up with that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just every once in a while a wrestling promotion will do something to me that's just fascinating, and Japan always does that. Like I remember with one night I was like, what are we doing? And Tababa's just like, just say it's us against all these fuckers in purple. He's like, oh yeah, we have this chick. She's doing the magician gimmick. She's in our corner too. He's like, but it's us against everybody. He's like, and they're doing like a complete coward gimmick. So he's like, you're just gonna walk around just swinging and hitting everything. I'm like, this is so friggin' weird. There's gonna be like 8 of them ringside. This is gonna be nonstop.
Yeah.
And it was like hard to keep a straight face, like doing it all.
Right.
Because it's just like, you're swinging at somebody and they got their hands up like to block it, like in a sissy kind of way.
Yeah.
And you're just teeing off. You're like, it's like I'll blow you up because you got to do it like 8 times, before you get back. Before you get back to the corner, your side of the ring.
Right.
It's just eventually somebody comes up with a gimmick that's just fascinates me, like a promotion or whatever. And I'm like, oh, a whole card like that? I wonder how that would look.
Right. Yeah. Like you said, you got to have some new stuff here and there in wrestling, just to keep it fresh and keep, younger fans and newer fans interested. Otherwise, they're going to move on to something else. There's so much that you can do now in 2020. I mean, it's not like back in the day before the internet and stuff like that. I mean, you could easily how
think
much
outside
wrestling you
the
can watch
box.
online. I mean, all these promotions, they have all their videos up on YouTube and on their website and all live streams now. You really could watch pretty much anything from anywhere.
Yeah, it's so easily accessible, but
yeah,
as far as like the money itself that comes in, and I think so much of that would have to be like a passion project, before they start seeing any kind of real income coming in.
Right.
I mean, that in itself is difficult because who's going to want to continue to put in the work? Eventually, the boys are going to be like, now I'm starting to have to turn down other work.
Yeah.
To be stuck around here with you. So you always find that to be one of the hardest things too.
Right.
That or typical pro wrestling, no matter how small the indies are, people have egos that are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Beyond ridiculous.
That's pretty much everywhere in life, but I can imagine wrestling, with the the macho part of it and everything, and then you add ego to it as well, and then that's definitely a situation that can get kind of nasty.
And with some of them, boy, you can add in some delusions that you're like, is this guy just crazy or is he really believe this?
Yeah.
There's so many of those cases, especially in like Jersey, New York, and like a lot of not a lot, but a few of the retired guys, you're like, dude, what the hell, man? Like, you were used on TV a handful of times. You were never under contract. Like, stop that.
Right. It's amazing. There's a lot to deal with for sure.
If we're really up to the date here, do we have to we have to start mentioning about the coronavirus or something?
How the hell did you know that's amazing, Tony. I was gonna just say, I wanted to get your thoughts on one more thing before you go, because we pretty much ran through everything. We covered everything. It's been a great interview, which it always is. I was actually going to ask you about that. I have that right here on the list. You read my mind, Tony. Either that or we're on the same level, and you know what I'm going to ask. I was actually going to say, you travel a lot, so you're the perfect guy to ask.
ESP, or I'm like the kid from Firestarter, that 80s movie.
Yeah, I remember that. Who was that? That was the blonde girl, right? I can't remember her name. Drew Barrymore, I think.
I believe it was.
I think it was. I remember my sister had the paperback, and then the movie came
Starting
out.
fires and everything.
Yeah. Holy crap, man. You read my mind. I don't believe that. Yeah,
wow.
What's up with that? I mean, are you seeing a lot of that, especially with all the traveling you're doing? I mean, now in Japan they wear masks, though, right? They've always
That's the amazing.
worn those masks.
That's the craziest thing. Is just how many Japanese wear masks in everyday life. Just for
why did they do that though? I might have asked you this in a previous interview. I don't remember. Why did they do that though? Long before the coronavirus.
Hey, I do that too. But the problem is I'll smoke a half cigarette at a time, so then I got to lose up to the keep kayfabe moving it out. But also, it's to prevent the spread of and the ingestion of germs. It's just that way about germs, germaphobes, that kind of people that they just, Japanese obsess about cleanliness. And the people I arrived in Kenya, boy, I was reminded just how much.
Right. Okay, well, that's the answer right there. They're very clean. They're worried about the cleanliness.
Yeah, coronavirus, I'll give you an issue that I bumped into here at work tonight. Right? It's like, didn't mean to go off on this woman, but it was like, we work with each other. It's in an Italian, this is like top grade gourmet food. This is not just, hey, I want to order pizza. Like, I mean, trays of meatballs, all kinds of crazy trays of baked ziti, everything you could imagine. So dieting around it all, especially now, that I'm sporadically wrestling, is rough. Being surrounded by that food like that. So, here, I'll give you one. What happened tonight? The guy, the one manager, he freaked out about corona. It was like get the coronavirus. So then the girl comes in, and she's talking about it too, and she's kind of freaking out about it. I went to clear my throat, joking around. She made a coronavirus joke, and I was like, I go, lady, I be cancer. I don't fear things like how a normal human being should. I said, but my oldest is 4.0, valedictorian, cum laude. She's going for it all here in her final year of college. I said, and that's what she does. She works in a laboratory part-time to develop vaccines for all kinds of crazy diseases, like they start with bugs and that kind of thing. I was like, so, and I think, like, she realized that it, like, triggered something in me. I was like, so, that's just where I lie on this. Like,
right.
My kid is going to school for this, and that's, my other kids, they think she's like the crown jewel and all that. Well, she's, you can't, as a parent, you can't be any prouder.
Right.
But I mean, to know that she's in the actual field of preventing things like the coronavirus from spreading, or finding a vaccine, or some kind of something that can make this all subside. It was like the case of the 70-year-old man passing away from it. Which he had a ton of other health issues. So, now it's starting to really hit home with people.
Right. Yeah. There's also some paranoia about it, too. I think they're overreacting a little as well, though.
Well, even so, my cousin's an electrician. He went into the city for a job, and he's like, there's nobody out. He's like, there's no cars on the road. Yeah. People have taken a giant step back.
Yeah. I think it's just a more powerful strain of the flu or cold or whatever. Though I mean, the coronavirus has been around forever. It's just a stronger version of it. Hopefully, it goes away once the weather starts getting hot and it weakens, I guess. But I think the people, I mean, what they're saying is, just keep washing your hands, and it's really susceptible for people who have immune systems that are messed up, who are sick already, or have a disease, and the elderly. So you got to be careful for them. I think more than anybody. I think if you're 25 and you're strong and you're healthy, I'm not saying don't wash your hands or anything like that. Of course, you got to be smart, but I don't think you have to be walking around with a mask. That was what I'm saying.
Right. Neither do I. Man, it's 2018 when I returned, when I had the connecting flight, Texas. It's 2018 when I had returned from Japan. I think I covered this on an earlier podcast with you, from being sick to being like stomach flu sick to being like head cold. And I could feel the three different symptoms. It took me over a month to get over it. But I picked it up soon when I'm coming from Texas back to Jersey. Because almost immediately, the minute I landed, I would go to light up a cigarette and I'd just be like coughing nonstop. And I had to quit because it was like I was coughing and harking nonstop. And I'm like, whatever the hell this thing is. And, I never even thought about lighting up a cigarette because it felt like that lethal. Just, I couldn't get rid of this damn cold. I was driving down the street, vomiting. It's just, I don't know what the hell I had. Didn't want to go to a doctor to find out. I didn't want to go to a doctor to find out what the hell I had. I just knew that.
Right.
I was like, I'm sick, damn it. There's nothing I could do.
Yeah. You got to let it pass. I mean, like I said, if you're young, you're strong, you don't have any diseases, or your immune system's not messed up, your body's you're gonna recover eventually. You do have to go to the doctor sometimes, but right. I think this passes though. I think this is like SARS and the other, Ebola and swine flu. Every once in a while, there's something like this comes along, and then it'll pass. I mean, we're not going to be sitting here in July talking about it. I don't think. I hope not. Anyway. No,
we're probably going to be sitting back, years down the line, going, "Remember that coronavirus?
Yeah.
Remember?"
Yeah. And
well, what about the ice bucket challenge? You remember?
It seems like it's worldwide, but so were the other ones. The other ones were worldwide too.
Yeah. You're talking about like somebody equated it to like the Black Plague.
True. These things come along every once in a while.
The people that wiped out were all peasants. This is the people that were traveling international. So obviously they got something behind them. You know what I mean? Like nobody just travels for the sake of traveling.
Exactly. We'll see what happens, though. Hopefully it passes soon. The weather's going to be hot before you know it anyway over here. So, all right, Tony, we covered a lot here. And let's get the next few months in, as far as before you go back to Japan, and then we'll figure out something for when you're in Japan. I got to try and keep this going every month.
Yeah, like I said, that was just an audio of me. I was just rambling into my phone, and then an audio file and out there.
Yeah.
It's almost like
we're always here if you need to talk, honey. You know that.
Well, I needed my Sam Mamo fix. I needed my Team Left Jab fix.
Maybe I
was. You can feel. You're gonna feel like ultra isolated. You're in another country. So whenever one of your random friends hits you up, just don't know how you're doing. Not what you could do for them. Just say, how you doing?
Right.
That you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
I had random coworkers hit me up, and I'm like, that means a lot. It really does.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, definitely.
And not speaking English for days on end, that can do that to you. So.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. All right, Tony. As always, I want to thank you for coming on, and we'll talk next month about this time.
You've been listening to the Team Left Jab United Radio Network. Check out our site at leftjaballnightboxing.com for the latest in boxing, wrestling, and all sports.